Well. Vermonters, New Englanders, friends around the country and around the world, welcome to our Try This at Home yoga intermission for Saturday, August 10th, I think. My name is Karen, coming to you straight from Salt and Sand Studios. I hope all of our friends and other humans and animals, etc., are doing okay around the globe with all this crazy weather and the fires and the like. I know that we were out of power for just a few hours, maybe 10 or 12. I know others are still out of power. So I'm hoping that anything they need can be provided by neighbors or others or friends. Anyway, today is a bit of an exploration. It's called, I forget what it's called. It's about a slow build to energy. There are times when I come to my mat and I really just feel like relaxing, which actually is most of the time. But sometimes the opposite is really what you need, and it can be really hard to get to it. I think about on our main floor, we have two showers, and one shower is in this clawfoot tub, and it's a rain size shower. It's really lovely, and the other is a shower stall. It's a fairly normal sized shower head. Here's what I'll tell you. If I want to go slow and I want to super relax in the shower, I use the one in the tub. The influence of these wide heads without very much pressure, without very much power, actually makes me go slower. And the stronger current, if you will, coming from the other shower, which is not as nice in general, actually makes me go faster. So I've been thinking about this and how we could apply that to yoga for, especially morning yoga, where we want to move up into our day. We begin a little slowly, a little calmly, and then we build it up. There are a few ways to do that. You could go faster. You could do more difficult poses. You could hold poses, and you can work your breath. There's probably more, but for the time being, we'll address primarily working with the breath, holding poses, and doing a few things that are not difficult, but a little bit more quickly than we might otherwise do them. So find your long spine, tuck your chin, let the knees drop. Take a cleansing breath first. We want to notice the difference between the energetic breath and the relaxing breath. So we'll breathe in really slowly, and we'll breathe out really slowly through the mouth. Now we'll breathe in evenly. Breathe in to the count of 1, 2, 3, 4, and breathe out for 4, 3, 2, 1. Now breathe in for 4, 3, 2, 1, and force it out your mouth. First one, longer out breath and in breath, relaxing and cooling. Even breath for when you're feeling pretty evened out already. And then the energetic breath, the sort of heat building, strength building, energy building breath is a longer inhale with a quick outhale. Outhale? Exhale. So let's try that again. We're going to breathe in and then out through the mouth more slowly. To the count of 4, we'll inhale, then exhale. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out for 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe in for 1, 2, 3, 4. Let it go really quickly. Now we're going to take a few rounds of breath on the quicker side, if you will. Sometimes it helps to drop your hands by your sides so you're not crunching things up into the chest and the shoulders and the ears. So what we're going to do is we're going to breathe in for 4, let it go quickly. We're going to breathe in for 6, let it go quickly. And then we'll breathe in for 8 and force it way out for as rapidly as we can. So we're going to breathe in, 2, 3, 4, push it out. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, push it out. And now to 8. Inhale, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Force it out. So already I can feel a little bit of heat, a little energy building. Let's go ahead and start our practice with an intention. We're going to sweep the arms out and up overhead. Press them together there, and they get really long. It looks like you're glued to your mat and that your fingertips are touching the clouds. You can lift your chin. Using as many muscles as you can, imagine that you could super stabilize your rib cage. Deep breath in. Let it go, hands to heart. Now, there's something brought you to your mat today. I don't know what it is. Maybe you don't know what it is, but why don't you consider your motivation for coming to your mat? And now we'll work into a chant of Om to start the more physical aspect of the practice. A cleansing breath first. Fill up. Drop your right hand to the earth so your fingers are kind of tented beside your hip and your left arm reaches toward the sky. Just like we did when we were seated with our arms lifted. So if you can get super long in the body, in the armpit of the left arm, reach, breathe in, and then tilt to the opposite side. Don't release the sitting bones from the earth. Can you bring your right hand out farther? Can you find your forearm? Any of those are fine. You might get a little bit more stretch if you bring your right arm farther away from you, but then the knee starts to lift on the left side. So you just want to watch that. We're going to rise back up. We're going to bring our arms into a cactus shape. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Wiggle the fingers. Actually, make a fist and then release it really forcefully. I'm going to bring the left hand down and the right arm high. Same gig here. Press the fingertips of the left hand and the sitting bones and the knees down. Reach the torso and the fingertips of the right arm up. Breathe in. Exhale, tilt. Maybe make that a little bit more challenging, a little bit more masterful. Finding space between the left hand and the side body. We're going to rise up. Bring the left hand forward and the right arm back. A little twist. We're going to energize it a bit by dropping the right hand to the mat behind us and lifting the left arm. A little twisty back bend. We will rise up, tuck the right arm behind your low back. See if you can squiggle your fingers to the left and then take your right hand and maybe it pulls those fingers over a little bit more. Lift from the top of your pelvis all the way to your chest and then your breastbone all the way to your throat. Draw the belly in, breathe. And then scoot the left fingertips over to the right. Use your right hand to help out. And then balance your shoulders and breathe. Lift the arms back up to the sky, elbows bend. And now you bring your hands behind your head, but your fingertips are sort of toward the outside, just behind your ears. You want to keep your elbows lifted here without scrunching your shoulders up or scrunching your face. And we're going to take a little twist again. We're going to move over to the left, come to the center, and over to the right. Come to the center, left hand behind you, right arm nice and high. And then we lift up and back, finding our little twisty here. One of the things we always need to work, come forward, arms up and hands to your heart, to ensure that whatever we're doing is not injuring the neck, is just take notice of it. So let's drop the hands into the lap and the chin toward the chest. Little movement left and right like a pendulum swing, half circles. You can hear me yawning. I don't think that means I'm slowly building energy. Good. And then the chin drops. We lift the chin parallel to the earth. We take a look over the left shoulder. Let's face the chin forward and drop the left ear toward the left shoulder. Reach up with the left hand just above your ear, and without pulling or pushing, just let the weight of that hand and gravity be your props. This is always a nice little sequence to do before your practice if you're taking any practice, whether it's online or and twist over to the right, whether it's online or in a class in on site. And chin forward, tilt your head, your right ear toward your right shoulder, right hand above your ear. Very good. Head lifts, hands down. I'm going to go ahead and move my cushion and sneak back a little on the mat. Hands are behind us. Feet are parallel but as wide as your mat, and the knees drop together. We're going to take this pelvic twist, torso twist movement, taking your time, at least initially, because we're going to speed up. And once you've done 2 rounds, we're going to go a little faster. To the right, to the left, to the right, to the left, to the right, and to the left. Knees point toward the sky. You might scoot your feet a little closer together. Sit up. Find a nice long spine with your palms on your shins, your kneecaps. And then we're going to cross the right ankle above the left and lean into that shin, activating the foot. Just finding a little bit of a hip opener before we move into some standing postures. And take it to the other side. The ankles cross, and you find your way into your down dog. Unfortunately, I can't join you in down dog because of my carpal tunnel surgery. So in your down dog, you might pedal out your feet. Of course, this is a reminder that whatever's happening in your body, you're aware of. I can't see you at all, so I'm not aware of any of it. So if you ever need child's pose or tabletop, take it. So from your down dog, you're going to go ahead and find your way to the front of your mat. In a forward fold. Feet are parallel. Toes and heels are even. Shins, hands draw to your shins. halfway lift. You could bring your hands to your thighs or keep them on the ground. Exhale, forward fold. 2 more. And a forward fold. I'm definitely warming up. And 1 more. We fold. Rise all the way to stand. Arms sweep overhead. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, rise up, mountain pose. Close your eyes. Notice any sensations in the body. You might take a body scan from the feet to the crown of the head. Coming back to this notion of building energy over time. We're going to move into a few sequences that will add to that build. I don't know about you, but I'm already warming up and feeling a little bit more, I don't know, get up and go. Okay, we're going to find a chair pose. You can keep your feet a little bit wide. And in this chair pose, we're going to find movement. So that movement is going to do with the breath what we have done before, which is breathing in deeply while you're seated in your child's pose. And then as effortful as possible, forcing that air out your mouth while you swing your arms behind you and bend over a little bit more. So I'll give you an example. Long breath in. Long breath in. Join me. And then all the way up. You're welcome to do 1 more if you like. Exhale for your forward fold. Now, you can build heat through vinyasa. I don't tend to do a lot of vinyasas on Saturday mornings, but you're welcome to add them in. Halfway lift and a forward fold. We're going to take a runner's lunge with the right foot at the back of the mat. We're going to move a little more quickly than we tend to here. So bring the right fingertips down to the earth. Check that you have energy in your back heel and your left knee is over your left ankle. Take a twist. Your left hand could just come to your low back, or you could take a half bind if the shoulder finds this untenable. In the twist, pop the back knee to the earth, tap it, and lift it back up. And again. And again. And this time, the knee drops all the way down. Left hand to the earth. We untuck the back toes and take our half split, Ardha Hanumanasana. Start nice and long, as if the heart is moving forward. Take a fold. Inhale, lift. Reach from the hips and the heart forward. Exhale, fold. Inhale, same thing. Hips back and down, chest up and forward and fold. We hold it this time. We will pop that left foot back to the mat, back toes under, pyramid pose. So hop your right foot a little forward and maybe a little outward to square up your hips. If you need props under your hands, take them. We're going to lift halfway, shoulders back, left hip back, forward fold. For those of you who would like to build a little bit more energy, we'll take a reverse pyramid, right fingertips down, maybe just a little forward of your right shoulder and your left hand at your low back, or it raises to the sky, halfway lift and twist. And the left hand comes down, a slight bend in your left leg as you float the right leg high. Knee to your nose, leg high. Knee to your nose, leg high, knee to your nose, and foot down. We move back into the chair pose to take our whooshes again. Breathing in fully. Whoosh. 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 And rise to stand. Take a hold of your left wrist, give it a little bit of a tug, and tilt. Tug and tilt, tug and tilt. So the belly's not sort of popping out in front. We're drawing it inward. We're tilting enough that we can feel the whole rib cage on the left side open up. Rise up. Right wrist gets a little tug from your left fingers and tilt. Arms overhead, a fold over your legs, finding your way to your half lift. And a forward fold, this time your left foot way to the back of the mat. Situate yourself so you've got a powerful runner's lunge. Left fingertips down, right arm high, or right hand at your low back. Power up that back leg. Back knee taps down, lift it back up. Tap. Straighten. Tap. Lengthen. And tap for your half split. Remember, bottom downward, belly and heart upward, and forward as you fold. Lift up, heart forward, fold. Lift up, heart forward, and fold. This time we're going to place both hands inside the right foot, and we're going to scoot that right foot in a little bit toward the hip, and then out toward the edge of the mat. Right toes point out, hands walk a little forward, pelvis moves forward as you take your right hand, place it inside your right knee or thigh, and press it away from you. Some of you will want to point the toes way to the right and maybe extend your back leg a little bit more. But rather than feeling your pelvis move down, think of it moving forward. I can't lift my right hand off the mat due to my left wrist, but we still find a twist. Point those toes forward, tuck your back toes under, find your way into Malasana or a higher squat. Doesn't really matter. Nice long spine. Hands down, right foot to the back of the mat. Back knee might drop. And your lizard twist on this side. Right hand to the mat, tabletop. Cats and cows if you need them. We try not to slow down too much, even while we're working to cool off. But if you want to release heat, release some energy, the breath out the mouth helps. Remember that monks have been known to melt snow around them as they meditate. That some of that has to do with the breath, because when your lips are closed, especially if you're doing Ujjayi breath, that warms things up, sends heat outward and inward. All right, here we're going to take the right leg, lengthen it, but keep the ball of the foot on the mat, and find some rocking forward and backward on the mat. Leg floats off the mat, and then we sweep it above the left calf as far out to the left as we can. Drop the top of the foot on the ground. You're going to glide that foot away from you as the front of your right hip comes toward your left heel. You might draw to your forearms. This is a glute opener. We're working a bit into a deeper malasana here. Toes tuck under, knee lifts away from the mat. That would be on your right leg, not your left. If you do it on your left and your right, I want to see that. That would be cool. We will rise up. Bring the toe and ball of your foot back down as you would normally. Then we're going to take a bit of a version of a side plank. So your left foot helps your left shin to kickstand. So you move the left foot to the left a bit. Your right heel comes down and your right arm reaches high. If you've got the power or you want to try it or you're practicing it, maybe you float that right leg off the mat. Really stack those hips. Beautiful. Reach toward the sky. Engage your left and right glutes. Engage your belly. 3, 2, 1. Hand comes down. Knee draws above your right tricep or toward your right tricep. We extend and return to the mat. Let's take a little wrist work in the middle of this. So the bottom comes backward, the backs of the hands onto the ground. And then we lean forward until we get the whole back of the hand onto the ground if possible. Elbows are not bent way out to the sides. If you have super flexibility in your wrists, you could go ahead and make fists. You'll feel that even more in your thumbs. And we're going to swap that up, palms to the mat. They might point left and right. They might point toward your knees. They might not go very far. But now we're reaching the heels of the hands and the inner wrists toward the mat. Returning to your tabletop, left leg floats behind, reaches behind, ball of the foot on the mat, a little movement forward and back. Shoulders over the wrist, float that left leg up, try and square your hips, and then sweep the left leg above the right calf, as far to the right as you can, till you drop the shoelace side of the foot onto the ground outside your mat. You move that leg away and back as you draw the front of your left hip toward your right heel. You want to come to forearms. Head is not resting here, but your shoulder blades have a little real estate between them. And maybe you tuck your left toes under to float that leg off the mat and reach the heel behind you for a little more opening. Remember to build energy now, mouth closed, forceful exhale. Moving out of lethargy, come into your 3-legged dog. Bring the left foot down on the mat. Kickstand your right leg with your right foot moving out a little bit. Drop the left heel to the mat and float your left arm to the sky, your modified side plank. If you like to build on this, left leg floats. Left hand down, left knee toward your tricep. Extend the leg. Knee down, child's pose. If you'd rather go to downward dog, feel free. If you've built enough heat and you want to back off a little bit, child's pose. Wherever you are, if you're in child's pose, you're going to move to tabletop. If you're in down dog, remain there. We're going to float that right leg high and then square open the hips. So we're going to stack the hips right over left. I'm going to go to my forearms to do that. Take a peek under the left shoulder as we bend that right knee and let gravity help with opening the hips. You may find ankle circles here if you're good. Open and close your toes. We reopen the hip, square the hips, lengthen that leg, draw your knee to your nose, extend, and bring that knee back down. Taking it to the other side, whether in tabletop or downward dog, the left leg floats off the mat. We open up the hips, left stacks over right. Bend the left knee, foot comes more toward the ground, toward the right side of your body. Ankle circles. Open and close the toes. Re-square the hips and straighten your leg, knee to nose. Inhale, extend, and the knee returns to the mat. We're going to meet at the front of the mat in a forward fold. Draw your hands behind your head, interlace your fingers, drop your elbows, soften your knees. Once again, the weight of your elbows and gravity become your best props. Right hand down under your nose, maybe the feet come a little wider. Bend your right knee, float your left arm high. We're opening up the IT band on the left side. Sometimes we can't find that. So, best thing to do first, halfway lift, twist from your navel. If you still don't feel it, you might lengthen the right leg. And again, halfway lift, and followed by a twist. If you still don't feel it, you just bring your feet a little closer together and try that whole gig again, rising up halfway and then twisting. Left hand down, right leg straightens if it's bent. Left knee bends, we take it all on the other side. Exhale, forward fold, rise to stand. Arms will float high. Exhale, hands to your heart. We're going to move into a balance. So if you would like to go to a wall or find the back of a chair to put one hand on, that's totally cool. We're going to move into chair pose, Utkatasana. Hands to your heart. We're going to do the right leg first. So if you need to hold on to something, that's your left hand. We're going to float the right knee up toward the chest. Cross the right ankle above the left knee and maybe sink down a little more. If you have an arm balance, you could take it here. Maybe you just play around with it, but we're opening up that right hip. Breathing into the hip crease. If you fall out like I just did, you just come right back in because it's just yoga. The right foot steps down. Prepare yourself for and take that on the other side. Remembering something I missed on this side, we're going to drop the hands to the ground, float the left leg high, and 3 times draw the nose to the knee to the nose. Drop the foot, halfway lift, forward fold, rise to stand, arms up, hands at heart samasthiti. Bring your feet wide, point your toes out. You could always use the back of your chair to support you on malasana. So we're going to drop down into our malasana, moving around the feet if we need to. And if you have a bind, a half bind, or a twist, or even practicing crow, go ahead and take that. And otherwise, you'll stay where you are, maybe rocking left and right. Three more breaths. Nice. Hands to the ground. Knees to the ground. Sit on your heels, placing something behind your legs if you need to. We're going to take the lion pose. So in your lion pose, the heels of the hands will come to the hip creases. This time, when we breathe in and force the air out the mouth, the tongue is forced out of the mouth and the eyes open wide. I think it emulates very remotely the haka, or at least a little piece of the haka. You might find it works for you as you breathe out to send your heels of your hands down your thighs toward your knees, but that might not work for you. So breathe in. Breathe in. Breathe in. 2 more. And beautiful. Find some neck rolls. And find your way into tabletop. Actually, find your way all the way down on the ground. We're going to prepare for a Sphinx pose. In Sphinx, if you have low back issues for back bends or anything, you might bring your feet a little bit wider. Bony hips in the front of the body are pressed toward the earth and the navel is lifting upward. The elbows are under the shoulders, palms flat on the ground if they can be. Then we're going to imagine that we could draw the mat backward as we press into the forearms, reach the heart past the biceps and past your mat, that kind of energetic reaching. You don't have to tilt your head back if that doesn't feel good. For me, that closes up my throat a bit. Here we breathe 5. And all the way down to the mat, turning your left ear to the mat. Your elbows might point outward. And you press your bony hips back to the mat. Breathe in and out. Forehead to the mat. We'll take that again. Sphinx pose. Five breaths. Shoulder blades love each other. Bottom is a little loose. Navel is in and out. And down to the mat, this time the right ear on the mat. Forehead to the mat. We're going to take one more back bend. So yogi's choice. You might take the same back bend. Maybe you take locust. Maybe you have a bow because you're pretty stretchy, although we did not open the upper back a ton today. I'm going to go for a scorpion prep, so I'll guide you to that. So the hands glide outside your rib cage. Feet come pretty wide as your mat. And we do the same thing. We lift the belly in and up. We drop the tailbone and the hip bones toward the earth. And then on an inhale, the forehead, chin, chest, collarbones lift off the mat. And then the knees bend and we draw the toes toward one another behind us. Mine are not doing such a good job. I've got some tight, thigh muscles. Can't remember what they're called. And we're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, into a child's pose, nice and gently. If you decide to take Balasana 1 with knees narrowed, you might work the top of your head to the earth rather than your forehead, and sweep your arms around so the hands are by your feet. Like a little nugget, a little dragon egg. We start to slow down, become downward from our slow upward energy building state. And we rise up. Coming to kneeling, if you need to place something under your knees by folding over your mat or grabbing a prop, a blanket or a pillow or a cushion. I'm going to drop the tailbone, reach the arms in front, and then lock the arms into the shoulders. So this approach is very oriented. This movement is very oriented toward your low back and stretching out the low back. If you have any problems in your low spine or your SI joints, something like that, or you have aches across your low back, this is really good. I do it against a wall as well. I think it's can be, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other in terms of the ease. But enough stance so you can be upright. We're going to scoop the belly in, squeeze the rib cage toward the hips, and reach the arms forward, drop your head on an exhale. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, squeeze. The most important thing is the rib cage toward the hips in the front of the body. Breathe. 3. Squeeze. 2. And 1, squeeze. Rise up, arms overhead. Hands to your heart, a little seat. We're going to take just a minuteness of a rest before we take that one more time. And rising up to the knees. Belly in and long, arms in front, locked into your shoulders. And the idea here is to round just from above the shoulder blades toward the hip bones. So you breathe in and squeeze. Your pelvis comes forward, your rib cage comes down, your arms and shoulders come forward, your head drops. Inhale. Squeeze a little bit more. One more time. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, find your way to a seat. We're going to move down to the mat to take supine figure 4 and a twist before we call it the end of the session. So coming onto your back. Woo. Maybe a quick hug of the knees in toward your chest, tucking your chin to let the back of the head rest on the ground. Feet drop to the earth, right ankle crosses above the left knee. Maybe you stay here or draw the left knee toward your chest. Hands can come behind the left thigh or up to your left calf. In front of your shin. Right elbow presses the right knee away and down. Shoulder blades kissing the earth. And we take that to the other side. Both feet activated. Both feet on the ground. Shift your hips over to the left and drop the knees to the right. Arms flop out in a T. Gaze is opposite your knees if it feels okay. You want your shoulder blades on the ground. If you like a variation of this particular posture, you can always lengthen your left leg or scoot the angle of the right leg to the outside of the left knee. Unravel from this, straighten out your spine as it would normally be. And then hips scoot over to the right. Drop the knees to the left. Same gig here. If you took a variation, take it. Unravel from this posture. Lengthen your spine. You might take one quick movement into legs up the wall or knees into your chest or hip circles. 3 breaths wherever you go. We'll meet in Shavasana. Taking a moment to settle in by breathing in fully and releasing it out the mouth. No effort, just a few breaths to integrate all the beautiful work you just did, all of the momentum you built, your intention, your motivation. Take a huge breath in through the nose and then we'll force it out the mouth. You can bend your knees and find your way back to a seat. Maybe that's coming onto your side first, or maybe that's a little rock and roll. Hands to your heart, and we'll end as we began with our Om. A breath out. We fill up. Thumb knuckles to your center forehead. May you build the energy, create the energy, find the energy you need to share compassion with all beings. Namaste. Terrific, as always, to practice with you. If you have an opportunity, please donate on our website. If you don't, that is okay too. It's always wonderful to share this practice with you. And I hope someday to see you in the studio or at another location live. Have a great weekend.